Guys, it's me, Shaw360, and this is going to be a super quick video because I have to get to work soon. First part of the video is just me saying, if you have a Canadian uncle who's looking for a wife, hook me up because I'm ready to get the fuck out of here. But the second part of the video is just, I want to ask you guys if you would mind me doing a video that speaks to some more political type stuff, not necessarily like getting into all the Trumpism stuff, because I don't want to make anybody who has a different political view feel like they aren't a part of this friendship, this community, because that has happened in the past and that was an uncomfortable situation to watch unfold. But it's more like I don't really talk about a super political stuff on this channel most of the time, but I was watching the Black Panther movie and there's a discussion there that I really would like to have about kind of the way that Black Americans feel different from African Americans. And you might think, what is the difference if you're not a part of my culture? But in America, there are Black Americans who have been here for hundreds of years. Then there are African Americans, people whose family are still in Africa, like aunts, uncles, grandparents, and they might be the first generation American in their family. And as a K-pop fan, I've seen a lot of Black K-poppers who have African parentage. As an American living in Texas, surrounded by two major metropolises, the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex and then the Houston Metroplex, I went to college with a lot of first-generation African Americans. And there was a divide there, and I kind of want to talk about that a little bit in regard to the Black Panther movie, which I saw, because I feel like there's a lot of those undertones and metaphors there. But again, I know the audience here is not really here for that kind of talk, so I mean, if you think it would be appropriate, like just as a one-off video, I can do that. Or if there's some other like political topics you guys would like me to discuss, I will gladly engage, as long as they're not like, again, you know, why you should or shouldn't vote for Trump or that kind of stuff. If it's more like cultural politics, that kind of thing, like the politics of, you know, colorism when it comes to not just Black Americans, but all over the world, because there is a premium placed on light skin and light hair and light eyes all around the world. It's not a Black thing, it's not a Korean thing, it's not a Chinese thing, it is a world thing. So we could talk about that. We could talk about poverty politics and how a lot of times our poverty makes us more similar than more different, because at the end of the day, a poor person is still a poor person. And we could talk about how poverty is looked at differently in different countries. How, you know, a poor American is looked at very differently than a poor person in the Sudan or a poor person in China. Now, granted, they face different hurdles. Absolutely. It is so much harder, I think, for you to climb out of your economic status in a country where the general population as a whole experiences poverty. However, I think that people look at poverty in America as being an individual's fault rather than systematic of how wealth is distributed around the entire nation. So these are all thoughts that are in my head that I've thought about talking about, because I think those of you who have followed my channel for a while are mature enough to have these discussions. I have faith that you are, and I have faith that a lot of you might have some talking points that would be great for me to engage in. And then the last thing I want to talk about in this video is K-dramas, because I've got to review a K-drama. But I'm at a weird point where there's not a lot of stuff that's like just now starting that's big name stuff, and there's stuff that's ending that's big name stuff. So I thought about doing like a general recap of Wayugi, because I have been watching Wayugi, but it's so many episodes in that going back to the beginning really wouldn't work. But I'm thinking maybe mid-March I could do just a general drama review of the series. Also, I know I've been getting recommendations to go back to older dramas. There's some older dramas that I've watched that I would love to talk about. Heal Me, Kill Me, that is a series that I would love to talk about, because I don't think I reviewed it as it was going on, but it was a very impactful drama to me. My lovely Kim Sam-soon, Coffee Prince, Rooftop Prince, The Moon That Embraces the Sun. There's a lot of dramas that I've watched that I've never reviewed because they were older at the time. But I think it would be fun to do like a watch with me type of thing where we all agree that we're going to watch this old drama and then come back and talk about it. So let me know what you think. But this is just a reach out to you to ask you if you would like to see that kind of stuff on the channel, because this is different than my main Shaw360 channel. I feel like this is a place where I feel more comfortable going in depth about things. And, you know, also we can talk about some more controversial K-pop stuff here as well, because there is stuff that needs to be talked about when it comes to K-pop. And it's not just about, you know, the fan war battles. A lot of it could be about Stellar and how they broke up after 8 years because of poor management, and how that's a systematic thing when you're not a part of the big three. How it's so easy for young people to be taken advantage of by these predatory entertainment companies. So that's a talk we could have, but just let me know what you think. And lastly, it's something that's been going through my head for a while, and I just don't know how to do it. And so if anybody is on the verge of doing that, let me know how to set it up. But I really think that it's time to be involved with a podcast. Because I listen to podcasts. I listen to K-pop podcasts all the time. I listen to regular podcasts. I love The Read, you know, and I don't want to do a show like The Read. I don't want to do a show where it's like a man and a woman and we get really catty and gossipy. That's not what it is at all. I want to have a podcast that is very much like the way I talk on this channel here. So it's not going to be all girl, and not that The Read is like that, but definitely there's a little bit more kind of like we're drunk and having fun type of thing, you know. Drug and drink culture is very much a part of those shows' premises, and that's just not me. I don't have anything against it, but I would rather be sober if I'm gonna have like everlasting thoughts. So anyway, if anybody would be interested in doing a podcast with me and know how to get that done, reach out, because I think that would be awesome and fun, and I don't know, it'd be something to do. So anyway, I will talk to you guys later because I'm about to be late for work, and this was fun. This was fun. I think it was a good time. And again, like I said at the beginning, if you got a Canadian uncle or daddy who's looking for a new wife, hit me up. Actually, just in general, because my dating life is really lame right now, and it's really hard to date when you need somebody to understand that I do own several K-pop CDs, and when I say several, I mean like a couple hundred. So yeah, that is an icebreaker that I haven't quite mastered. So I'm reaching out to the community for a husband because I'm ready to get married again. I'll be 40 in a couple of, actually, I'll be 40 in a year and a half. So yeah, you know, clock is ticking. But I just want to make sure that I do things that enrich this channel, that enrich you guys, and there may be a topic that you would like me to address that hasn't been covered in the gamut of topics I've mentioned in this video, but I want to hear from you because I want to enrich our lives. I want to talk about real things. I want to make this a place that's good for you, because yeah, there's 1,000 unboxing channels. There's 1,000, you know, K-pop video critique channels, but there's not very many K-pop kind of holistic channels that talk about not just, you know, K-pop as a musical genre, not just the packaging, not just the news about it, but also talk about the things that impact the lives of fans. You know, we all live in various countries, and there's a lot of things that go on in the world that we should talk about, because in order, I think, to kind of overcome the hurdle of being able to appreciate a language that's not your own in music, you have to kind of have a world view. And so many of us who are fans come from so many different places, and there's so many different things we could be talking about. Like, I would love to see a K-pop channel talk about the humanitarian crisis in Myanmar, because that's something I don't really know much about, but it sounds horrific, and I want to know about what's happening with Rohingyans. And I hope that I have these two countries the same thing, because if I'm taking one country and putting that would be very embarrassing. But you know what I'm talking about if you're up on current world events. But these are all things that I'm interested in, you know, so I think it's something that we could talk about. So yeah, anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will talk with you later.